Hi everyone, this is Quentin Levesque here, tuning in from the People's Advocacy Group, and today I want to talk about two things: Fast Track Capital, which connects students into the California State Legislature, and secondly, the California State Seal of Civic Engagement. So firstly, starting with our platform, Fast Track Capital, I want to show you what it is and how it helps increase civic engagement and civic literacy in the student body. So, firstly, what we have is we have identification of state legislators. We tell them who their senator and assembly member are. Secondly, we have a calendar widget which connects them to the California State Committee, the legislative committee hearings, so they can watch legislators debate bills and other types of issues that are pressing in the state at the time. And so if they click on these uh, boxes here, then it takes them to the committee hearing so they can watch the legislators debate. Secondly, we have an array of advocacy tools here that help students engage in the legislative process and take action when it comes to the information that we provide them with. So as you can see here, we have informational updates about the different standing policy area committees that are in the legislature, and there are 55 of them that range from every issue area that pertain to society and its successful functioning. So here's a Senate Budget and Fiscal Review Committee update. And what we have here is basically a brief synopsis of the bills that are going to be heard um, on this day in this committee. And so what happens is we break down the bill for them in a nonpartisan, unbiased fashion so that students can decide whether or not it's something that they themselves care about. So firstly, we provide that analysis, the synopsis, if you will, um, so that students can digest what the bill is. And if they wanted to research the full bill text of the language, they just click on the bill and it'll take them over to the full text of the language where they can see the vote history as well as the bill analyses and other information uh, specific to that bill. And so we do this for the full agenda, and we update students on all the bills that are going to be heard in that committee at that day. And so we have some examples for you. There's appropriations, local government, we've got assembly judiciary. So we cover all the different standing policy area committees. And lastly, I do want to show you our tools here. Excuse me, second to last. I want to show you the tools, which are advocacy tools that help engage students and help them connect with their representatives on issues that they care about. So for instance, right here we have a show of support tool, which allows students to connect into the legislative offices that represent them so they can have their voices heard. I'll show you how it works real quick. They type in the school address, it populates who their legislators are, and then they type in their first, last, and email so that the legislative office can correspond. And then what they do here is they enter the bill number, and then they enter the explanation of why they support the bill here, and then they click send support. And so that is how you execute a simple show of position. We also have oppose. We also have schedule a meeting with your legislative office. We have recommend legislative proposal, suggest amendments to existing legislative proposals. And we have these final two, which essentially allow students to call in to support and oppose any legislation that they've come across. And we do provide them with some talking points and help them in their call so that it's not too much of a lift for them all at once. And so, lastly, the educational aspect of the platform, Fast Track Capital, consists of these lessons here that go over the legislative process. And so, as you can see here, we start with an overview of the process. Students can click here and it'll show them the lesson. And they just read through it. And then we also have why we advocate. We have tracking legislation. We have preparing to advocate. We have building a coalition, how important relationships are when it comes to advocacy, engaging support, engaging opposition. We have a lot of lessons that teach students about the process, how it works, and what they could be doing to become better advocates themselves. And so our platform, Fast Track Capital, consists of three aspects, which is the informational updates, the educational lessons, and the engagement tools that help students engage. And so secondly, I do want to talk about the state seal of civic engagement because they are so hand in hand with one another. The state seal of civic engagement was brought to us by AB 24 in 2017 by Assemblywoman Eggman at the time, signed by Governor Brown. And what it did is it set out for a criteria to be adopted by the CDE to award students with a seal. And so on September 10th of 2020, the California Department of Education adopted the criteria, and this is the criteria here, which you can find on their website. And one of the great things about the state seal is that the CDE leaves it very open-ended for the LEAs to decide what civic engagement looks like in your specific community or your neighborhood, if you will, as it varies from rural to metropolitan to very everything in between. And so it varies from community to community, which is why they leave it open-ended. And so, as you can see here, there's 5 criteria, and we, as a firm, the People's Advocacy Group, can help students check off these criteria with our platform called Fast Track Capital. The first one, be engaged in academic work in a productive way, is up to the LEA to decide what that looks like. However, these bottom 4 here of Fast Track Capital helps students check those off in a very streamlined and modern fashion through the use of technology. And so students don't have to leave campus, they don't have to leave their homes, they don't have to stay after school to engage in the different civic processes and democratic processes of the state. All they have to do is use our platform, Fast Track Capital, which is why I'm here today. And I would like to form a nexus point for us as a firm to help your students meet the criteria as well as increase civic engagement and literacy on campus so that we can pave a pathway for these students to become transformative leaders and to be engaged in the processes that govern our state. Again, my name is Quentin Levesque. I'm from the People's Advocacy Group. Thank you so much for your time today, and please reach out to our firm if you would like to work together to provide this great opportunity for your students.